Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Part 2. Had a couple technical difficulties over there. We are back, though. All right, so let's pick it up right where we left off. We were talking about the wide receiver position. We were finishing up Sweet Lock, I believe, with Julio Jones, correct?
Correct.
That's correct.
All right. All right, so I guess we'll go right into our sleeper, I guess, for wide receiver, yeah?
Yeah, we can do that if you want.
All right. Now, I'm looking at my chart here. I'm an idiot. I didn't put one in, but I definitely have one who is available. And we'll just go with Eric Decker because, listen, the guy's just been a solid staple of production. He's not even a sleeper if you've been watching fantasy football lately.
He's a go-to guy.
Absolutely. He didn't catch a touchdown last week, correct?
No, but he got over 100.
Yeah, and the guy's just getting receptions. And remember when we did our season preview, I talked about this as well. Just Chan Gailey's offense there for the Jets. It works out so well for guys like Marshall and Decker because they just catch a lot of short passes. Again, in a game where I love Fitzpatrick, this just sets up nice for a good Jets win here. So
he's definitely. Would you say that Decker's the primary target for Fitzpatrick? I mean, Marshall's the big name, we know that, but it looks like when it comes down to reliability, he's going Decker's way.
Yeah, it would appear that way. I think just more people are probably gonna gang up on they'll gang up on Brandon Marshall, but make no mistake about it, Marshall has not lost a step. He's actually looked really awesome this year. Yeah. It's just a matter of Decker getting the opportunity, and he's making the most of it. I mean, look, we saw Decker produce when he was in Denver too with Peyton Manning. I mean, in no way am I comparing Peyton Manning to Ryan Fitzpatrick, or the other way around. But
Fitzpatrick might be a little better this year.
Yeah, I believe so. But I like Decker here as a sleeper. It's good price. You're definitely gonna get your production. So let it rip, let it ride, let it roll.
God, I hope Manning shuts me up one week, man. I hope he just makes me shut the hell up and say, "Hey, I told you I had the ball still." I like it. I like it. Well, my sleeper, man, we're gonna stay with the Phil Rivers connection. Keenan Allen versus the Ravens. We've mentioned it before. 283 yards that the Ravens are allowing up. Keenan Allen in 8 weeks has 62 receptions, 690 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's phenomenal. However, there's one thing that I do not like about Keenan Allen, and I think I brought it up to Chris, while we were watching the game. I went back, rewatched the San Diego-Oakland game to make sure that I wasn't hallucinating. Keenan Allen took 11 plays off, meaning he did not even try to run his route. And it was a passing play. These were passing plays, and he did not. He took one step back and acted like he was getting a bubble screen with nobody on his side to set up the blocks for the bubble screen. So I don't know if it's just out of laziness or, it's got to be out of laziness because I don't see any other reason why he wouldn't be running his route.
He was hurt, if you remember, he was kind of a game time.
I understand that, man, but if you're hurt, get the hell off the field. You know what I'm saying? If you're not going to run a route, you're not going to have an option for Phil Rivers. We wondered why Phil Rivers struggled in that first half. That's probably why.
Yeah, I could say. I mean, look, the guy produces when he's doing, his normal things.
He's got 62 receptions. I mean, that's why he's definitely my sleeper. I mean, I just think, especially if I'm going to rock Rivers, if I'm rolling out Rivers this week against Baltimore, I'm rolling out Keenan Allen. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying.
I do know what you're saying. All right. Anybody else the sleeper?
Yeah, Keenan Allen was actually my sleeper as well.
Sorry, man.
No surprise there. And no, you're right, Adam. You're 100% right. He was a lot of his criticism last year was that he took a lot of plays off, and some of the time he just wasn't really in shape or in. The guy runs some of the best routes in the NFL, especially as a rookie. He got so much praise for how well he runs routes, how he can get open. It seems like all the time. And then last year, Richard Sherman covered him. He caught whatever he wanted on Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman said, "Oh, whatever, it doesn't matter," because whenever I get beat, I pretend like it didn't happen. But it did happen. It did happen last year, and the guy is, it's weird because there's two sides of the coin. Like he said, he has the most catches in NFL history through 7 games, and he takes plays off. So, you know, what if he didn't take plays off? Like, what the hell's going on? I mean, does he just? I mean, is he pouting because he's not getting the ball? I mean, you're getting more catches than anyone in the NFL. You can't.
No,
Really
I think it's more than what Al spoke to, man. It's got to be a health issue or something's nagging him.
And there's something to staying on the field when you're hurt because you can be that decoy. You can let anyone head catch that pop out.
Got to run your
man. No doubt, no doubt. But I agree. If you're taking Rivers this week, you should take Keenan Allen. Especially with Gates' health still up in the air. It sounds like his MCL is not doing well. And, we'll get to the other guy in the next segment. But, I mean, Keenan Allen's going to he's going to keep getting them targets for sure.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it's obvious. It's hard. It's not a consensus sleeper, but I can, I'm sure Al would definitely.
He was almost my lock, honestly. He was almost my lock. But he does have a couple weeks where he just only had a couple catches, so he's not the 100% every week lock like some other guys, but I mean,
against the Ravens
in the NFL.
Against the Ravens.
I'm just shocked that you guys went with that as your sleeper. That's unbelievable. But all right, I digress. What do we have here? As we're at wild cards now, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes, we are. I believe so. Do you want to lead it off? I feel like we're always taking your candy from you.
No, don't worry about it. Well, you lead off one segment, Sweet leads off one segment, I lead off one. I mean, it's the circle of life, my friends.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Elton John said it better.
If I'm going wild card, I'm thinking Randall Cobb this week. A couple weeks here where we haven't seen much from Randall Cobb. That's okay. Now, granted, Denver has these great, quarterbacks. They rank out. They have 2 guys that rank out, I believe, in the top 7 in the NFL in terms of grades on, just how they perform on the field. The good thing for Randall Cobb is that he probably won't see those guys because he'll be in the slot. Mm-hmm. This is a game that's probably going to be pretty close. I think Denver's going to win this game outright, surprisingly. The line actually started at
God, I love when you say this shit because
the line started out at a pick'em, which was kind of awkward. And then I saw what I always do is I take a look at the lines when they first come out. So they typically come out right after the 4 o'clock games. They'll come out at that time.
Jesus Christ, it makes me think so much. Crazy.
So the thing is, when the lines first came out, it did say Denver and Green Bay it was a pick'em game. And I think anybody in their right mind would take Green Bay at that point. Well, that's what Vegas likes to do. They like to trick you. Now, the line immediately went to -3 in favor of Green Bay just because they saw how much money was going that way. But, I put a lot of credence to this about, how the line actually is when it first comes out. So, I really think that Denver is going to, kind of control this game. And, if that's the case, I'm not worried about Green Bay scoring too many points or, doing whatever. I mean, this is going to be a close game. Vegas initially said it's going to be a pick'em. So let's have some Randall Cobb. Let's have a lot of receptions from Randall because we haven't seen it in a couple weeks. But this would be my wild card. He's a definitive play for me this week. Also, we get a late night hammer going here with the receivers or the late night bat. I'm sorry.
I love it, man. I love it. I just love the boldness. The boldness.
And
Peyton Manning in the dead arm.
Yeah, Cobb is at $7,000 this week on DraftKings. That's pretty low,
bargain, bro. Yeah, that's a crazy bargain. It's funny, man. You have a couple of quiet weeks, and your value goes down, and allows everyone to go steal him.
Yeah. Well, look at Todd Gurley. He was $5,000 the last couple of weeks, and he's at $6,300 this week.
Yeah.
So. Interesting.
You gotta love that fantasy exchange rate. You gotta love it.
Indeed. All right.
Okay, so if we're gonna go around the horn and go with some wild cards, I believe we're up with that's a great wild card pick you got there, man. I'm gonna have to go against my boys, go against the G-men. We talked about him not being too active of the past couple of weeks, but Willie Snead, I believe, gets back on the playbook, so to speak. He scores, he gets you in the column, especially with the Giants giving up 288 yards a game. Snead's got 29 receptions, 461 yards, and just 1 touchdown. He's going to add to that this week. He's going to get into the end zone because the Giants don't know how to cover anybody. I say it every week, man. No one knows us. No one knows their team better. You know what I mean? Than fans. And
absolutely.
Sure enough, we all call solid picks when it's against our own team, and that's what I see here. I see Drew Brees going off to Mark Ingram and another Willie Snead. I would love to see Cooks do something because I've been big on Cooks. I thought he was a great rookie last year. Phenomenal speed. He's just got to find his way. If Brees can connect with Cooks, it potentially will open stuff up vertically for Willie Snead as well, especially going across the middle. Giants can't cover stuff across the middle. Yeah, big day for the Saints, man. Saints come marching in.
Yeah. All right. Sweet. What we got here?
Well, Wags, I thought you were going to do it to me again, but I like the other guy you were talking about there as my wild card. I like Brandon Cooks. This is a guy who's been completely inconsistent. He has not lived up to hype. He is still leading the Saints in targets. He's also leading them in catches. He's not leading them in yards, though. And I just, this is a game where I think he could finally do something because, like you said, you're not real big on your guys' defense in this game. And, there's going to be some weeks where Cooks has 10, 11 catches. This could be one of those weeks. He had weeks like that last year. He had 13 targets last week and only 6 catches. So, I mean, there's definitely some misconnect, but it's got to get fixed eventually. Cooks is just too talented. I think he's gonna be much better when they have like a true number one because I feel like he's definitely more of a number two slot guy.
Man. I look at him as like an OBJ. I would think OBJ would be a great slot guy too, man. OBJ's not one.
He'd be good whatever he wants to do.
OBJ can go anywhere. But
whatever the hell he wants to do. He wants to play corner. I mean, he'd be good. I mean, that dude's nasty. But yeah, I mean, Cooks, he's gotta eventually do something. I feel like there's going to be a point this season where he shows his potential.
I agree. I mean, he's got too much speed not to do it. So it's got to produce. It's got to turn up. Somewhere.
And he's got like 6 plays over 20 yards this year, so 6 catches over 20. So he definitely has. It's there. It's just gotta. Maybe he just needs to mature a little bit. Maybe he just needs to come into it. But it's there.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, hopefully I get it on Snead's side, but we'll see.
Could be both of them.
God, that's going to be brutal for the Giants.
All right, we got to move it on to the tight ends. Who's leading us off for this lock?
Well, I mean, disclaimer, Gronkowski, right? We'll throw that out.
Right.
Gronkowski, okay.
Yeah, he's on the Thursday slate.
Yeah, so he's irrelevant not irrelevant, but you know what I'm saying. He's not on the Sunday slate. So for Sunday Monday, man, I gotta go with Martavis Bryant or Bennett rather. Minnesota does not cover the tight ends well. We saw that last week with a solid, deep sleeper pick that you had with Ebron. Look for a lot of the same with Bennett this week. He's Cutler's golden boy. He's got 34 receptions on the year, 292 yards, 2 touchdowns. Minnesota just can't cover the tight end. If Ebron's doing that to you, I can't wait to see what Bennett's doing to you. Yeah, it's going to be nice, especially if Minnesota can't keep the ball and they give it up to Chicago and allow them to have fun with it all day long. Yeah, it's going to be a Forte type of day. I just gave away my secret. I don't like to give every pick of mine, but Forte is definitely one of my lineups. I think he's going to have a good day. But yeah, I think Bennett is just going to have one hellacious game against the Minnesota Vikings. It's going to be bad.
I like that a lot. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I think the Black Unicorn can definitely let it hang out.
Yep.
Unicorn. All right, if I'm going with a lock here at tight end, I got to go with my man Tyler Eifert. He's going to be priced at $5,300. Pittsburgh all season hasn't really been that, doing that well against defending the tight end position. 29th ranked against on DK. So, especially Eifert, he's had these big games before. He could definitely do it again. He's looking like an unbelievable budding superstar, if you will, here in this league. He's had games on DK of 34, 29.
Yeah.
I think this is a huge spot for him this week. Again,
You're right. Remember I said it. AJ Green's been getting the ball taken away from him. He's been inconsistent, and this is why. Great pick.
Pittsburgh not very good. Against tight ends, as I just mentioned. But again, we're gonna have a close game here. So let's look at the players that are gonna be in these close games. Let's let them have some relevance. I don't think anybody's gonna blow either side out in this one. So we're gonna have a game where he's gonna be used a lot, and it's gonna be relevant football is being thrown his way. So
I love it, man. I love the pick, dude.
Yeah, I like Bennett too, and I believe Bennett's cheaper. So
yeah, he's cheaper, but Eifert was the guy that popped off at me. Popped off the screen at me. He jumped at me.
400 cheaper, but yeah, I think either play there is pretty good. Sweet, what do you got for tight end?
I'm going to stick with a theme that you guys are very used to now. I'm going to keep on going with the San Diego Chargers tight end, whether it be Gates or Green. I believe it will be Green, though. He's 3,000 on DraftKings. And even when Gates was in the lineup, this guy was getting you double digits. So he hasn't really had a week where he blows you out of the water like some of the really elite guys, but I'd say he's good for 15 to 20 in that range.
He'll be lowly.
If Gates is out.
What do you think the ownership will be on him?
It'll probably be pretty high. I would imagine.
Because of last week in the price value of this week?
Yeah, I had him last week, and I never even looked at how highly owned he was.
9%.
9%?
9% in my contest.
Yeah, so that's not much. I think a lot of people just completely bailed out on, that situation when Gates was out.
Right.
And what was someone else. I didn't because, I know the guy. He's got the big playability. He's fast as hell. He's got the speed. I remember 2 years ago he caught like a 60-yard, just basically caught it right over the defensive line and was gone, just pulling away from cornerbacks against the Chiefs. So the guy's got the speed. He definitely doesn't have the technique like Gates does, where him and Rivers, know where each other's going to be. He's still learning that, but I think Gates is definitely, not Gates. I think Rivers is definitely starting to trust him more, and you saw that with the 2 straight 2-point conversions to him. I think he's starting to feel him out in the red zone.
Volume, dude. That's a 2-point conversion. That's a crucial play.
You have to have it. You had to have it, and he did it twice in a row. So I think there's definitely some rapport there. He's even been playable in regular fantasy leagues when Gates was on the field. So I think he's my lock, especially if Gates is out. And if Gates is in, just pretend I didn't talk about this and everything I said about Gates.
Just another breaking update. The Danilo Gallinari show continues. 45 FanDuel points. Just saying. Anywho, all right. So we got to go with sleepers here at tight end. Wags, you started us off, correct?
All right. Well, we're gonna go back to the G-men getting beat up again. It's gonna be Benjamin Watson. 29 receptions, 325 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Unfortunately, half of this productivity was done in one game, so makes him a little bit of a sleeper / wild card. However, we do know that the Giants cannot cover the tight end. This is why he should be in a lineup. DraftKings has that flex spot. This is a perfect spot to have him in there as a flex, as a dual flex with another tight end. Maybe if you have Bennett in your lineup or an Eifert, that's a great play. God damn. Even with Green being 3,000, I don't know how I'm gonna, avoid not picking that. That's just a great value play there. But this guy Watson, for what it's worth, it's more of a wild card pick than it is sleeper. Just because that half productivity, coming off of one game. So I just think that I know my team better than anyone else does, and we do not cover the tight ends well at all. So across the middle is going to be owned for Watson. He's going to stake his claim. It's going to be there like a big estate, just sitting in the middle of the field. No one's going to cover him because no one knows how to cover him. It's going to be a good day for Watson.
I dig it. My 2 sleepers here were going to be Darius Green and Benjamin Watson. You touched on both of them. Both for a low price, a lot of productivity. And yeah, I'm probably not getting off of Tyler Eifert. I mean, I'm pretty sold on him already. So, these picks are just a formality here.
Yeah. Eifert is, like I said, dude, he was the one that jumped off the screen at me. So the price, if I can tweak it to where I can get Eifert in my lineup, like you said, it's $400 more off of Bennett. I gotta get it. I gotta see if I can get it because I got an Andy Dalton out there somewhere waiting for him.
I get it. Oh my God! I'm just looking at basketball. That's all.
All right. Don't worry about the basketball, man. I know that you're watching basketball.
Yeah.
What do you got for the
Well, I mentioned this guy last week. I said I was just going to keep mentioning him every week until he proved us wrong. It's my boy from the Cleveland Browns, big game Gary Barnidge. Just getting it done every damn week. 100 yards last week in a game where they basically were never in it and lost to the Rams on the road. Still had 100 yards. I don't know. I don't know what's in the water with this dude. I don't know if he's eating a bunch of pierogies out there in Cleveland or what the hell's going on, but my man is just getting it done every damn week. This guy.
When are they gonna cover this guy? Or is he covered and he's just beating the coverage?
I don't think they plan on it.
He's just big game, man. He's big game Gary, man. You can't cover excellence.
Let me give you a parallel here, okay? So for the last couple of years, I played on this. It's supposed to be flag football, but they don't do flags, so it's basically just rough touch. Yeah. So I played on a team with a lot of great athletes. Like they all played football in high school and all that kind of thing. But in the red zone, I was the man. Like they were like, oh, it's Walsh. Like who gives a shit? And I was open all the time. And that's the only time that I got thrown the ball. And basically, that's kind of what they're doing to Gary Barnidge here. Just letting him roam free. Now, yeah, he gets his touches, but he is a huge red zone target. So, red zone or Al Walsh being reincarnated through the Cleveland tight end Gary Barnidge.
This guy. Everybody's been big on big game Gary for the past 3 weeks. Especially our boy Dave Zidek from the Wagner Wire. Just the tip. He featured him week 2, and he's kept him in his lineup ever since. He went out and got him one season long. It's a good play. How many times can you go to the well before it's dry? That's my only, that's why I'm reluctant to pick this guy, man.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the same team, different position. It reminds me of Peyton Hillis about 5 years ago.
Yeah,
when that dude just got on the damn tear. And every week he's getting, 20 points in fantasy.
The only Cleveland Brown to get on the cover of Madden.
Yeah. And apparently apparently a hell of a nice guy too.
Yeah. The Giants brought him into camp, and he looked okay when he was there. I wish he would have looked a lot like he did when he was in Cleveland. We would have.
I was being a little sarcastic with the nice guy. The teammates didn't have a lot of nice things to say about him, but
I heard he was a nice guy. I heard he was actually.
Those Cleveland Browns players didn't have a nice word to say to him the next year.
How could Peyton Hillis possibly be a terrible human being? I don't see that.
I don't either. I see that.
You guys got some Google homework after the show. Google some Peyton Hillis stories because there's some good ones out there, including supposedly trying to bang Josh McDaniels' wife when he was in Denver, his coach. But there's some stuff besides that.
All right. I'm definitely gonna. I love when I get Google homework.
You know what? Now I'm gonna be up all night. Thanks. Awesome.
The one story I can think of that involves Cleveland. It had something to do with a hat being passed around. Then you put money in it, and there's some sort of like lottery where one person got the cash. And just look for that story if you can find it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, will do.
Intrigue. Well, I guess that brings us to defense.
Yes, it does. Yeah, I got nothing more to say on the tight end situation. Mm-hmm. Pretty good couple pretty good plays. Damn, we're getting to the end here. I'm getting lazy with my mouth. All right, Sweet, why don't you start us off?
So we're going locks here. I'm going to go with my lock from last week, although they're much more expensive this week, is the St. Louis Rams at home against the San Francisco 49ers. They're 3,200 this week, so they're $800 more than they were last week, which is why basically all of America had them in their lineups. But Colin Kaepernick coming to the whatever dome it is, Edward James almost dome
Edward
or whatever
Jones.
it is.
Edward James almost.
Edward James almost TWA dome. So it's gonna be the vacant.
James Edwards almost too, but or it's James James.
It's Edward Jones, but
James.
It's gonna be
oh my God, we're all over the place.
It's gonna have dog shows and rodeos in it next year because it's not gonna have any football in it, probably much like the San Diego Stadium. But yeah, I mean, you gotta like these guys against Colin Kaepernick, who's a bottom 10 quarterback at this point in the season. So you gotta like it and stack them. Do the running back defense stack with Todd Gurley and them, and it should work out just like it did last week.
I like that pick. I unfortunately, I'm gonna go. I mean, Al, Chris, you guys hit the defense on the head last week with the Rams against the Cleveland Browns. I gotta go with the same type of formula and pick the Arizona Cardinals going up against the Cleveland Browns. I think this is a defense that can repeat the performance that the Rams had against this Browns team. You're going to pay. They're the highest defense on the docket there, but you got to take them. I think it's worth every penny. I'm not coming off of them. I have one defense this week. It's the Arizona Cardinals.
I like that. We're going to get a little sneaky here with my lock. I'm going to go with the Houston Texans. Granted, they did get their hole blown out last week, but the line sets up very well for them here. Mettenberger at quarterback, I do like him, but not in this spot. Listen, all that kind of stuff going aside for Houston, they do have a lot of talent on that defense, and they will turn it around. But, getting your ass kicked like that really puts things in a big perspective. And I think they're going to be very low owned, too, just because they got their ass kicked last week. This could get, it could backfire in my face. But, I do like the Cardinals. They're $4,000 on defense. That's unbelievably expensive. But I really believe in this Houston team. And the same thing happened at Tampa Bay last year. I don't know if you remember, but that Thursday night game where they were losing 42-0. They came back the next week and played lights out. There's just something about getting embarrassed for all these men. They don't want to let it happen again. And it's Tennessee. It's Tennessee. They're not good. So let's get crazy. Let's get crazy.
Tennessee.
But yeah, I mean, look, if I'm going to be a sane human being about it, then yeah, of course, St. Louis going against San Francisco. But yeah, I like Houston as well.
Yeah, man, it's. I think Houston just scares me, man. On paper, they're the best team in the league. You know what I mean? On paper, or the best defense, rather. I think.
Just saying, come back after getting that ass kicked. I like it.
If J.J. Watt is the leader we all think he is, then he's got to kick these guys in the ass and get them to show up this week.
I had pretty much a heart attack. I saw one hell of a prank on Facebook. It was a tabloid. It was a press, article that said J.J. Now this just in breaking NFL news. J.J. Watt signed 2-year deal with Dallas Cowboys. I clicked on. My heart stopped. As a Giants fan, I said no. I said hell no. All right. I clicked on this damn thing, and it said "gotcha." That's what it said. It said "gotcha." You just got it right. I was just like, thank God. I cracked up. I wasn't even mad. I was thankful. I was thankful he's not on the Cowboys. Jesus Christ. Because true leaders like Greg Hardy are on the Cowboys, and there's just no room for J.J. Watt.
That'll never get old. That will just absolutely never get old.
I'm never gonna let that get old, man. It just sounds too good.
All right. Any other defenses? I'm ready to get out of here. I gotta write my 3-game NBA article slate. I'm actually looking pretty good here in one of these contests, but
I'm doing well.
The other one's not looking so hot, but it's okay. That's why I did too.
I need AD to come up big.
Yeah.
Put a lot of money into Anthony Davis. I need him to do something.
I think I'm doing all right because I backloaded mine with all my money, so all my money's about to play.
Nice, very nice. All right. Oh shit, I didn't even do a late contest. Well, that's all right. All right. So we all good on defense?
We are, bro.
All right, fellas. Make sure you tune in Sunday. We have the NFL kickoff show as always. Week 8, almost. Well, we're almost at that halfway point if we aren't yet. Well, listen, we have an odd number, so you can't even do halfway. But yeah, tune in Sunday morning, 10 a.m. East Coast time. That's when we're live.
11 a.m.
11 a.m. Yes, that's correct. 11 a.m. Jesus. Oh, hold on. All right, I'm so shoot for hoops. But
get there an hour early if you want.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, we'll have a party. Hey, so I wanted to bring up. I'm sorry. We're talking about before we get off here. I saw something, and I just want to make sure that I'm not going crazy.
Okay.
Is there seriously daily fantasy sports for fucking video games? Like, how do you do this? Someone please tell me how we are betting on video game players. And what games are we doing this to? Is this Call of Duty? Is this Skyrim? Because you cannot play Skyrim for like 5 minutes. This is a contest that will go on for weeks if this is a video game thing. What the hell is going on? Is Leroy Jenkins coming to town? What
I think would be pretty cool is if you're the one playing the game, so that I could see being pretty sweet. But
how would that work? Would you bet on? I mean, how would?
Yeah. So you would bet like me and you played Madden. We put up $50. Now I don't know if this is how it works, but that would be pretty cool.
That's. I mean, this is something we got to look into because this is just it's rivet. I can't wait to check this out. I saw a little controller, a joystick on there. And I'm like, there's no fucking way that people playing video games are getting betted on. We are betting on people that are playing video games now. It's crazy, man.
Welcome to America.
Taking out with that, man. But yeah, what a great time to be alive.
What a great time.
As the great Frank Dukes once said, "Aren't you a little old for video games?"
Not anymore. Apparently, not anymore.
Oh, Jesus. All right, let us get out of here for the evening. Good luck with everything going on throughout the week. We'll see you Sunday morning. Peace.
Later.